Alright, imagine waking up one morning and realizing your dad might actually become a literal god. Yeah, that's basically where things are heading in The Boys Season 5, Episode 3, titled Every One of You Sons of Bitches. This episode is packed with chaos, Ryan committing his darkest act yet, Homelander spiraling into full religious delusion, Stan Edgar returning to manipulate everyone again, and a bunch of Gen V connections that might secretly set up the endgame of the entire universe. And trust me, by the end of this episode, it becomes painfully clear that the final battle of the series is starting to take shape. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, so let's break down everything that happened. The story, the hidden details, and all the Easter eggs you might have missed.
No one was here.
Cold open. Ryan crosses a line. The episode wastes zero time getting brutal. We open in Russia with a squad of special forces raiding what they believe is a CIA black site. These guys are armed to the teeth. Night vision gear, heavy weapons, the whole tactical setup. But suddenly, something feels wrong. One by one, the soldiers start getting slaughtered, and the person doing it is Ryan, the son of Homelander. Ryan absolutely tears through the entire squad. There's no hesitation, no mercy. One soldier even tries to distract himself by listening to Imagine Dragons, which is honestly a hilarious dark joke from the writers, but it doesn't save him. Ryan kills everyone. Right away, the episode is telling us something important. Ryan isn't just a confused kid anymore. He's becoming something far more dangerous.
This great hero is my father.
Soldier Boy joins the Seven. Back in the United States, the PR machine at Vought International is already spinning the story. In a massive announcement, Soldier Boy is officially introduced as the newest member of the Seven. But then, Homelander drops a bombshell. He publicly reveals that Soldier Boy is his father. For the public, this is presented as some heroic family reunion, a powerful legacy moment for superheroes. But for anyone who knows the truth, it's terrifying, because now the two most unstable soups alive are suddenly connected in the spotlight, working together, or at least pretending to. The secret behind V1. Meanwhile, Billy Butcher and the boys uncover something huge. Soldier Boy somehow survived the soup-killing virus, and the reason comes down to a formula called V1. If you watched Gen V, this name should sound familiar. V1 is essentially the original version of Compound V, but far more powerful. We're talking about a formula that is nearly 10 times stronger than the version used to create modern soups. That's why Soldier Boy survived the virus. His body runs on the earliest and most powerful version of the serum ever created. But here's the crazy part. Homelander doesn't have V1 in his bloodstream, which technically means he's still vulnerable. Dr. Shah suggests something even more dangerous. There might still be a vial of V1 somewhere out in the world, and if Homelander gets his hands on it, he could become completely immortal.
No, not you again.
Zoe? Stan Edgar returns. Following the advice of Starlight, the boys decide to reach out to someone they haven't seen in a long time. The former CEO of Vought, Stan Edgar, played once again by the incredible Giancarlo Esposito. Stan claims he doesn't want anything to do with Butcher anymore, but he still agrees to meet them. Instead of a simple conversation, though, he takes them to a hidden underground bunker, and waiting for them there is someone nobody expected. Maverick, the son of Translucent. Remember him? The invisible member of the Seven who died back in Season 1 when Huey blew him up from the inside? Well, apparently, Maverick inherited the same powers. Thankfully for Huey, Stan told Maverick that Homelander killed his father. Otherwise, this meeting probably would have ended very differently. Homelander's religious vision. While the boys are plotting underground, Homelander is completely losing control. Inside Vought Tower, he starts hallucinating someone from his past. Madeline Stillwell, his former mentor, appears in what looks like a heavenly vision. dressed almost like an angel. The entire moment feels religious, almost biblical. And what she tells him is chilling. She says Homelander will become more loved than Jesus, the one true God. But to reach that destiny, he must rid the world of the wicked. This moment pushes Homelander fully into Messiah complex territory. He's no longer thinking like a superhero or even a dictator. He's starting to believe he's a divine being chosen to cleanse the world. Soldier Boy and Firecracker. Now let's talk about one of the strangest pairings in the episode, Firecracker and Soldier Boy. After some very awkward flirting and macho competition about their powers, the two end up sleeping together, which honestly might be the most chaotic superhero couple imaginable. But it also reminds us that Soldier Boy hasn't changed much. He's still reckless, still arrogant, and still completely driven by ego, which could become a serious problem later if he decides to challenge Homelander again. Ryan and Zoe Noman's dangerous conversation. Outside Stan's bunker, we get a really interesting scene between Ryan and Zoe Noman, the daughter of Victoria Noman. Zoe wants revenge. Specifically, she wants to kill Butcher, but Ryan surprisingly tells her it's a bad idea. The two argue. Zoe storms off and goes back inside, but then Ryan discovers something shocking. Butcher was watching the entire conversation. This leads to a tense exchange between them. Butcher suggests a plan to kill Homelander using the soup virus, and you can clearly see Ryan struggling with everything he believes, because sooner or later he's going to have to make a choice, his father or humanity. The Frederick Vought connection. Meanwhile, Mother's Milk discovers an abandoned army hospital where Frederick Vought once worked, the original creator of Compound V. This location turns out to be an early testing facility for V1, which means the boys might finally be getting closer to finding the original formula before Homelander does. And if they reach it first, they might finally have a weapon powerful enough to stop him. Chaos inside the bunker. Back inside the bunker, everything suddenly spirals into chaos. Zoe sneaks out and meets her father, Dr. Shah, but when he learns what happened to Victoria Noman, he completely breaks down. In a panic, he destroys the soup virus. Frenchie immediately tries to kill him, but Kimiko jumps in and stops him, creating another emotional clash between the two, because in this world, revenge is always tempting, but it never really fixes anything. The betrayal of Stan Edgar. Remember how Stan Edgar brought everyone to a bunker for safety? Well, it turns out that was actually a trap. Stan locks the boys inside and calls in backup. Soon, Black Noir arrives to capture him, but then something unexpected happens. The Deep suddenly shows up and releases gas into the room, knocking out both Stan Edgar and Black Noir. At the same time, Maverick attacks Huey. Dognot, a returning character from Gen V, jumps into the fight, and just when the situation couldn't get crazier, Cindy suddenly arrives. She brutally kills Maverick, but seconds later, Starlight snaps Cindy's neck. Just another completely normal day in the world of the boys. The final confrontation, Homelander versus Ryan. The episode ends with the moment we've been waiting for. Ryan meets Homelander again. Homelander tells his son something terrifying, that they are going to live forever. But Ryan has a much more important question. He asks whether Homelander raped his mother, Becca. Homelander avoids the question. Ryan snaps and attacks Homelander, but the fight doesn't last long. Homelander easily overpowers his son and starts punching him brutally. It's a disturbing moment, watching the father beat his own child. But just before killing Ryan, Homelander stops, and that hesitation might end up being the biggest mistake of his life. The real endgame. Homelander wants V1. In the final moments of the episode, Stan Edgar is delivered directly to Homelander, and now Homelander knows something crucial. V1 might still exist, which means he could finally become exactly what his hallucination promised, an immortal god. And if that happens, there may be no way left to stop him. Easter eggs you might have missed. This episode also includes several cool hidden details. First, the mention of V1 directly connects the story with Gen V, confirming that the spinoff is essential to understanding the final season. Firecracker blaming Starlight for the attack on Vought Tower is pure propaganda because fans know the real cause was Soldier Boy's attempt to kill Homelander in the Season 3 finale. There's also a hilarious, outdated reference when Soldier Boy mentions Sherry Lewis, a famous puppeteer from the 1950s, perfectly showing just how stuck in the past Soldier Boy still is. The episode also confirms that Marie Moreau helped arrange the meeting between Annie and Stan Edgar, further tying the two shows together. All of these details suggest something big. The boys and Gen V storylines are now fully merging. Our nerdy thoughts. Episode 3 might not have the biggest action sequences yet, but story-wise, it might be one of the most important episodes of the season. Ryan is beginning to question everything he believes. Homelander now sees himself as a god, and somewhere out there, a single vial of V1 might decide the fate of the entire world. And honestly, if Homelander gets it first, the boys might already be too late. So what do you think? Will Ryan eventually turn against Homelander, or will he follow the same dark path as his father? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of the boys and its connection to Gen V, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into this insane universe, because trust me, things are only gonna get crazier from here.
You could think I would do something like that.